Well, it's definitely been a quiet close of the week for Shiba Inu, a quiet close of the week for most assets in the space. And what's interesting is that Shiba Inu right now is trying to create this reversal. We actually had a reversal candle yesterday, and we'll see if we can continue this day on the green note that it started on. But what I want to actually talk about is a couple different charts that are showing some great signs for SHIB. We're obviously waiting for the bottom on this one chart to take place. I'll show you guys that. But I also want to talk about this 3 trillion Shiba Inu that actually left Coinbase yesterday. This could be a very great sign for what is ahead. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So this week has been very consistent for Shiba Inu. Again, we talked about this broadening wedge that we've been building here. And, we've tested the bottom, we've tested the top, we've tested the bottom. We've been kind of all over the place here yesterday. Just was kind of hanging around the bottom, bouncing off of these moving averages. We actually closed yesterday with a doji candle day. So this could be a potential reversal spot for SHIB. We'll have to watch and wait and see what happens. For those that aren't familiar, doji candles, they tend to represent a little bit of market indecision when they finish right in the middle here. And that's exactly what SHIB did. And right now, what we're kind of waiting for again is stochastic RSI to flip around on the daily. We're waiting for it to happen on the weekly here too. It doesn't look like either of those are happening quite yet, which is fine. Because if SHIB does keep trending sideways and both of these keep dropping, we could actually get to the point where we get a full reset on stochastic RSI, kind of like we did back here, if you guys remember, late July, early August. And then that gives us basically a lot of energy to actually make this move to the upside. So we could see SHIB kind of bounce around in here for a little bit of time and then try to make that more extended move. All right. Now, this isn't to guarantee your financial advice or anything like that. That's just what we've seen happen before. I will say BTC just kind of holding on to its trend right now, just trying to make it through the weekend, get to some higher volume. Ethereum trying to do the same thing. It's trying to hold this trend that it's on right now. What we could be seeing here is actually Ethereum cool down just a little bit. This actually would not surprise me at all if this happens. If Ethereum kind of bounces around and slowly but surely makes its way back down to about 4,300 as this 20-day moving average is on the rise here. And then that might be a moment where ETH has a chance to bounce and try to extend to that new all-time high. That would not surprise me. Now, what I will say is that SHIB had something very interesting take place yesterday that's definitely worth discussing. There was actually 3 trillion Shiba Inu removed from Coinbase. Now, what's interesting is I went around and was looking at all the different data, looking at exchange supply, looking at whale movements, and it was a pretty modest day overall. So I'm not sure if this was just a change of custody, an exchange moving assets from one wallet to another, what exactly it was, but the other data isn't really showing this move taking place, but there is a transaction that shows that this took place. So it's very odd, but I will say that regardless of what's happening, exchange supply removal is a good thing. All right. It's something we've seen for a very long period of time. And again, we're still seeing very limited Shiba Inu available on exchanges. Again, the ratio is incredibly low right now. And still what we're waiting for in the market is just that bit of excitement. I don't think this weekend is going to be the bit of excitement. Obviously, volume has dropped off very significantly. We're down to 176 billion over the last 24 hours versus the mid 200 billion range that we were seeing over the course of a big part of the week. Shiba Inu volume down to $226 million over the last 24 hours. So pretty quiet there. And that's how I would expect us to navigate this weekend. I think next week has the chance to be really exciting for the market. So what we want is some stability. We don't want people to get impatient over the course of the weekend. If you guys caught my ADA video earlier today, there's some shakeouts that are being attempted in the crypto market. So the biggest thing I'll say is don't fall for that. We're in some pretty exciting times. Optics are incredibly high. What I did want to show here as well is in terms of SHIB dominance, we're still in this huge bull flag. We keep trying to make these extensions to the top half of this. We haven't been in the top half of this bull flag since all the way back here in December. All right. Been mostly hanging around the bottom, bouncing off of that, getting rejected by moving averages. And what you need to know is the longer you stay in this formation, the more explosive the moves out of this tend to become. Again, same thing that we were doing from 2022 into 2023 into the early part of 2024. And then finally, SHIB had that massive breakout to the upside. And I will say again, like I talked about yesterday, big thing we're waiting for is just a little bit more of that excitement to trigger some retail adoption. That's the biggest thing that we need right now. Did want to note something though. In terms of the SHIB BTC chart, it looks like we have in fact bottomed here and we're setting slightly higher lows. We're showing a lot of stability down here. So this is something that I want to see hold. If this moves down, that's not the greatest sign, right? Obviously SHIB ETH chart, that one's just still continuing to set lower lows because ETH has been running so hot. Actually, with ETH kind of cooling down now and coming back, we may see SHIB kind of gain versus ETH just a little bit. But this is the one I'm watching right here, ETH or SHIB BTC. If we can start making some nicer moves off of this, if we can actually get all the way back above that 200-day moving average, that's going to be a really good sign for SHIB. And guys, that's not that far up here. Actually, I want to measure this just to see how far that is. That's about a 30% move versus BTC. That's something that SHIB could frankly get in a couple of days. We've made moves like that before. I want to remind everybody, back here, we made this 27% move versus BTC over the course of just 18 days. And that was when there wasn't even really a whole lot going on. So those are some of the things that I'm watching here. Again, the biggest thing I will stress is we just need to be patient. I know people are tired and exhausted, and I get it. Biggest thing we can do is go out, touch some grass, just enjoy the last of summer here. August historically tends to be a pretty good month for the crypto market, and it's been pretty good so far. And I think that we have a lot of excitement before the month is over, and maybe we'll get this exciting end to Q3, exciting start to Q4, and we'll see how the year ends. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.